All right, if you're watching this video, we've had a successful treatment placement. Your loved one is in treatment. I always tell families take a couple of days off. About a week into treatment, things are going to start really heating up. We have to start planning what's going to happen afterwards. So we'll spend a lot of time talking about aftercare treatment. But this exercise is a little higher level than that. I want you to have a thought experiment about what the different options are for your loved one at this point. I tell families, really there's three things that could happen with a success or a facility placement. Option A is this works. We're going to have success. We have to take a look at what success looks like. Option B is kind of half-assed, half-baked recovery. The person leaves treatment early, the person slowly returns to use. We'll talk about option B. And option C is no change. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time talking about option C because the family's already been through that. The family is very well versed at dealing with full-blown addiction. So let's say your loved one goes into treatment and is successful. They spend 30 days there. One thing, success comes with a lot of stress for the family and for the person, for the loved one back home. Option A looks like they go to treatment and then they've got an aftercare plan. They're very engaged, but the stress comes when at re-entry. So the loved ones, the family, they're much slower to catch up to where the person in treatment is. Person in treatment, you could have a whole different person in 28 days. When that person comes out of treatment, they're ready to be part of the family. Like they want to jump back in and they want to start managing again. They want to be a partner again. In the situation of a wife and kids, the wife is back on the worst day. The wife is a month behind, 2 months behind. That re-entry period can be very stressful. Let's just use the example of the husband. He's ready to engage again. He's ready to be part of the family. But the mother, she's taking care of the kids for a while. She's not ready for that. So that re-entry period we have to really watch out for because it can be very stressful for the family that's at home. They haven't grown as fast as the person that went through treatment. Option B, this is a tough one and I want you to think about it. I want you to be a little bit prepared for it. Option B, the person leaves treatment early. The person is telling us, I've got this, don't worry about me. They've got a lot of confidence. They tell us that they're going to go to intensive outpatient treatment. They tell us that they're going to go to 12-step meetings. There's a lot of doubt. We don't think that they're doing that. We've brought them back into the house. We're not sure what they're doing. We're not following their lives. This is a real tough one. Trust here. We don't trust that person. So we want to think about how we're going to manage option B if the person doesn't have a success or a true successful recovery. One thing that we use in here is drug testing or breathalyzer. Breathalyzer goes a long way to really take the loved one, the healthy one, out of the police role. Really in all these situations we want to use drug testing. I use the example of the person, every time they walk the dog, they drank. In this situation, every time that person goes and walks the dog and comes home, the loved one, the wife, I'm using that example, the wife doesn't trust it. She's kind of sniffing around the husband when he came home from walking the dog. She's questioning, are his eyes glazed? Is he belligerent? There's just not that trust. If we have somebody on a breathalyzer here, it takes the wife out of that policing role and she doesn't have to act. She doesn't have to question herself. She doesn't have to wonder. The husband has buffaloed her before and we're not gonna allow that. Option C, this is kind of the nuclear option. This is the person goes to treatment, comes right back, starts using. The family dynamic breaks apart. This is sort of our This is the most difficult one to deal with, but this one the family knows what to do. I tell families in an intervention, make sure that we don't go back to the way that it was. We need to create plans for both of these options. This might be nuclear plan. This might be I'm leaving you. I tell families, take out a sheet of paper, plan these 3 options. We're always hoping for this. This is exactly what we want. But if you do the thought experiment and kind of plan out these 2, if you have it on a sheet of paper, you've thought about what's going to happen, it puts you in power. You're not in a passive mode of wait and see. Hopefully you never have to pull out that sheet of paper with these plans, but if you have that plan, you're empowered and you know what your action plan is. That plan is there. So if the person absolutely does not recover, you know exactly what you're going to do.